hold accountable. It's like saying my kids should be picked up from preschool today, but we don't know by who or when or how, but it's a nice target. So it made it all a bit wishy-washy. It's on YouTube, but they muted my part for some reason. I have no idea. It's absolutely not personal. So there's this market downturn going on. We saw in Q1 that food tech investments were down 40% compared to Q4, I think. So there's definitely something happening. How should founders think about this? The founders maybe in your portfolios, but also founders coming to you for money. I mean, the valuations, maybe they've changed. Maybe you can't invest as much. What should founders and people sort of be aware of in this market that, we're after 10 good years, we're seeing maybe a downturn? I'll start with Mari-Lis this time.
Sure. Since we invest in very early stage, about 50% of the time we're the first investor to the company, I would actually say that I think any time is a perfect time to start a company. So if it's a downturn, upturn, or silent, nothing happening in the market, I think it's still a good time because there's a lot of things in the food industry that still need fixing, and the sooner we do it, the better it is for all of us.
Okay. Carolina?
No, I agree with what you say. There's so many things to address, and I think that we just need to be able to, but one thing that we should do, I think, is we need to be able to put a value on natural capital, because if we do that, we also get a completely different valuation of food, and we see the dependency on food, and then also we probably see all the big actors also waking up a little bit more regarding this, and you see that this is something that in Sweden it's livsmedel, it's means for life, so it's really super essential and basic. So it shouldn't be something that is tackling. But I mean, to our companies, of course, they have to sit a little bit on their capital. They can't expect that the craziness of the market that it used to be. It was actually completely overvaluated, many of the companies. So be more careful with the money you have.
Anna, what are your thoughts?
I mean, first of all, I think food tech and climate, because I see them very much interlinked, is a bit protected from the downturn. I think investors in this space are not afraid of investing in this type of product because it's very long term. It's a different mindset. So
everyone needs to eat, right?
Exactly, and. So I think that's first of all, and second of all, of course, you need to be a bit more careful with your runway. You need to kind of lower your expectations in terms of valuation. Rounds take a bit longer. You need to focus even more on relationship, I think, as well. And you should think about that now as well. Whoever you bring on in the next downturn, do you want to be in the same room again? So I think those are the perspectives that we have.
Fanny, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that the relationship is extremely important, especially in downturns. And I see investments a bit like dating, like you want to avoid the Tinder swindler. And I think also from the entrepreneur's perspective, it's important to have your vision and to also have a clear path in mind how to reach that vision. And you should find investors who share that idea of the similar path as you do, and that's even more important in downturn situations.
To have good personal chemistry. Carolina, I want to double click on something you said about pricing natural capital. Is that like true cost accounting, that we don't really pay the real price for when we buy something in the supermarket, right? In terms of the health impacts and the environmental impacts of that product, right?
Yeah, but both in terms of positive externalities, but most of them are negative externalities that we need to internalize in the price. Otherwise, we won't. If we don't value the natural capital, we won't take care of it. And that's basically what we need to do in order to have a healthy soil, and we have more harvests than 60 years in front of us. So it's really, I think that's imperative to really get this moving. I mean, we did a true cost analysis on tomatoes and beef 12 years ago, and in the room I had Paul Polman, and I had
the former CEO of Unilever.
Exactly, and I had Peter Backer, who's head of World Business Council Sustainable Development, and everybody was nodding. It's like, this is what we need to do. Yes, this is what we need to do. And here we are 12 years later. We're beginning to internalize carbon, but biodiversity, water use, land use, all these other ecosystem services, they're not there.
So if politicians are not, moving forward, can investors show the way and sort of ask more from their entrepreneurs?
Yes.
Yeah?
Especially corporate investors.
Yeah? Because you feel that they don't ask enough?
The corporates. No, I believe that we could use that measurements internally. We don't have to wait for politicians to make a move. So yes.
Anna?
What was the question again? Sorry.
Should you, as an investor, basically ask more from your entrepreneurs, more than just turning a profit? Should you ask them to deliver in terms of ESG, in terms of impact, in terms of making sure that their products are doing more, that they're net positive, that they're not harming the environment, they're not harming human health?
I think absolutely, and we at Kinnevik independent on the industry. If it's a pure software play, a fintech solution, we always measure ESG, we always measure carbon emissions, we always set up a plan. So I think that is kind of not even food specific. Yeah, absolutely.
And I think we're almost out of time. So Marlies, I will give you the honor of wrapping up. What do you think? I mean, obviously you already have a very strong investment thesis because you're trying to remove animals from the food system. But what kind of things should you as an investor ask when the politicians are not demanding more?
I think by enabling more and more mission-aligned entrepreneurs is definitely a step forward. Another thing that I see that is happening in the investment side is that more and more people who are just who are not investors in their career but just want to join the investor world through syndicates like Food Hack, for example, or the Evolution platform or our rolling fund, they come in and they actually vote with their dollars, euros, whatever currency it is in terms of what type of world they want. And last but not least, I'm excited and looking forward to the big climate funds that have so far invested in energy and transportation to actually join into the food space as well.
Food is 25% of global greenhouse gas emissions.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. Best of luck with investing in meaningful things. So thank you.
Thank you, Daniel.
That was fun. Next up, we have a TV star. Lauri Reuter, Dr. Lauri Reuter, where are you? Welcome.
Here.
So Lauri is a scientist turned entrepreneur turned VC, and you're also a TV star. Do you have some clips to show us, or?
Unfortunately, no. Does this work? Yeah, good. No. Let's try this one. This one works. Great. So no, I don't have clips. I brought some pictures.
Okay. Can we see pictures?
We can see some pictures. Here's a picture.
So basically, you're a scientist in biotech?
So yeah, I'm a recovering researcher, I'd say. I used to do science in biotech, and I saw so many great things just being on the shelf in research institutions and universities. I got a bit frustrated. I thought we should put those tools in better use. I started exploring ways how to do that, and then we turned out building a VC fund. So now we're running Nordic Food Tech VC, investing in those innovations. But in between being a researcher and running a fund, there was a bit of a gap. So I thought it would be a good idea to make a documentary series.
Of course, because you're Mr. Food Tech Finland.
Exactly. So we thought it would be great to sort of explore what food means to all of us and what this big transition in food means to all of us.
Who are we? It's you and that other guy.
Me and this other guy. So I'm the very geeky guy who really appreciates the tech part of it, but sometimes people find that a bit scary and weird. So I got this chef, one of the best chefs in the country, in Finland, to join me on a trip, and then we went all over the planet to see the weirdest things that are out there and explored how they work, and would you really eat that stuff, and how do we feel about those things. This is actually a picture from Stockholm, from Grönska.
Yeah, Grönska Vertical Farm. Yeah, so the TV series called Would You Eat This? There's a trailer on Vimeo. It used to be on all play platforms in the Nordics, but now it's not there anymore. But
yeah, just checked on SVT last night. It's not there anymore. But it's now on Topic and what's this Amazon Prime thing in North America as well. So if you're from there, check it out.
So you have some pictures. So you checked out the future of meat and dairy and insects and all sorts of fun things.
Yeah, so we went out and explored all of it, and I think I just brought this one with me because I think this one was, for me personally, one of the most impactful things to experience. We went to see how broilers are produced.
They're very cute.
They're very cute when they are, newborns. That was actually the morning when they were brought into that place. So we were not filming, secretly. We were actually invited to that place by the company growing the chicken. So it was probably the best possible farm ever that you could imagine of, and everything was probably cleaned up for us. Still, I haven't eaten any chicken after that.
Why?
Because it just didn't feel right. And for me, it was strange experience because I thought I'm thinking very rationally about food, and it's environment and climate and resource efficiency, and then you see it, and then you just don't feel like eating it.
Chickens are very efficient because it's like a calorie in, a calorie out.
Exactly.
For the environment.
That was my thinking. Then I went there, and it just didn't feel right.
So it's 40 days from cute and cuddly until they're broiler and
36
days.
36 days.
And it used to be like 3 months back in the 1950s.
Yeah.
So we have better feed, better genetics. We sort of put them on warp speed.
Better all sorts of stuff. So I think kind of why to make a documentary series like this is not only to sort of popularize the technology, but also get the feelings in, because that's actually a major part of our food and our relationship with food.
More pictures.
I brought only 3.
Okay.
Because another thing that you get to do when you make a documentary series and you're not investing in food or doing research or tech development is you get to explore all kinds of crazy shit.
Or pee.
This is me distilling my own piss.
You're doing what?
Because I can. So we explored, the water system on the planet, and how all water is, you recycle it. You drink the same coffee multiple times, right? On a planetary scale. So obviously we had to explore that a bit more in detail. So I collected some of my own piss. It's a lot of work. Here's a pro tip: freeze it in between. It's much easier to store it in your freezer than in the corner of your bathroom. And then we distilled it, and you clean it up. You get water out of it, or get everything else out of it, and extract the water, and then you make beer out of it, and you serve it to your friends.
Did you tell them before?
And you only tell them afterwards. Yeah. Another pro tip: it's really hard to get the ammonia out, so you need to put a lot of hops in there to cover the
off flavor.
Yeah. So, but I mean, also, we went to California to taste the chicken nuggets they make out of chicken cells, and then the obvious question that would come to your mind is, if you can take chicken cells without harming the chicken and make a nugget out of it, why would you take the cells out of a chicken? Why not a panda? Why not me?
Yeah, so you went to Japan with Henry Alén, the chef, and you asked him, is there anything you wouldn't cook or taste?
Yeah, I asked him if he ever encountered anything that he would not taste.
And he's like, I'd eat anything.
Yeah, he's a chef.
And then, so you have lab-grown meat, and then you break some news to him.
Yeah, that we took some cells from my back, skin in the game, and